It's called the tree. Once upon a time when the world was new, God sat and wondered what else he could do to fill the great spans of empty space and make his land a better place. Then an idea came to mind, something he knew would help mankind. With his mighty hands he molded a seed, making it round and perfect like a tiny glass bead. Taking great strides, he walked day and night, looking for the place that would be just right. To plant his creation he had crafted with care that would be best suited for his plan to share. At long last he reached the spot and loudly proclaimed, "I'll give it a shot." Scooping great mounds of rich, sweet soil, he dug a deep hole without much toil. In pensive silence he dropped in the seed, while pondering to himself what else it would need. For its roots to grow and take hold across the universe, touching many a soul. Smiling to himself, he nodded with glee. "I know what it'll take to make this be." In a booming voice he passed his decree upon the tiny seed that would soon be a tree. "I'll give you love, fortitude, and strength, safe havens from storms and vipers that vent. Those who rest in your ample shade will be grateful for what I have made. You will be special, wait and see. I hereby name you family." Thank you. This next piece is actually the title piece of my CD called Reflections. And I think it's very important that we pass on to our young people our heritage, where we came from, but also what we did once we got here. Reflections. Oh, Africa, my ancestral home, whose fertile land I once roamed. Among gazelles, lions, and birds, zebras, elephants, and other herds. I walked on rose petals, the daughter of a king, hand in hand with my mother, known to all as the queen. Prophesied of birth to do great things, I was constantly encouraged to stretch and spread my wings. Life was gentle, loving, and kind. The thought of other places never entered my mind. One day while basking in the hot, nurturing sun, a dark cloud gathered and to our village did come. Strange men entered, their skin like alabaster, riding sweat-soaked horses, bringing to us disaster. I ran like the wind, trying to get away, but freedom would not be mine for many, many days. Separated from my family, then put on a boat, grief consumed my soul when we started to float. As the sail was set for places unknown, I caught one last glance of my beloved home. We sailed for many a day and moon-filled night. Constant rocking of the vessel caused great fright. Sickness and death was everywhere. It clung to my skin and even my hair. I missed my friends and family too, and knew not what fate wanted me to do. We sailed for many a day and moon-filled night. Constant rocking of the vessel caused great fright. The crying and screaming never stopped aboard the cramped wooden boat, so smelly and hot. The dead lay where their last breath was taken, but even then, my faith was not shaken, because whatever destiny had in store, I knew I would reach the distant shore. After all, I was the daughter of a king, prophesied at birth to do great things. America, such a strange and barren place, where immediately I was hated because of my race. So full of scorn were those I now face, who cussed and taunted me without shame or disgrace. I, who had often walked hand in hand with the queen, now wore chains that hurt and made my wrists clean. I, who had been pampered and cared for all my life, was soon sold to the highest bidder into slavery and strife. Language was a barrier that had to be overcome. By listening very carefully was how it all begun. I knew not why such change had come, but felt my heart something had to be done to turn the tide of bondage that in this land consumed, for we were much more than they ever had assumed. In the slave quarters where most of us slept, worn and tattered books were secretly kept. At night, while huddled around flickering lights, we took the first steps to change our plight. Liberation through education was a message I wanted to spread, and did all that I could to help my people get ahead. Change did not come easy. Old habits are hard to break. Yet on a daily basis, great strides we did make. Our children became educators, politicians, writers, artists, musicians, freedom fighters. Through thought, word, and unselfish deed, they took the message to wherever was a need. And so the years passed quickly on the wings of time, and of the things that happened, some were most unkind. Yet, despite injustices encountered, the dream of freedom held fast, till one day we awakened and slavery had passed. Now an old woman, my hair full of gray, I lovingly watch my grandchildren while in my yard they play. I've told them all this story, so each of them will know. It's up to everybody to keep freedom's light aglow. Oh, Africa, my ancestral home, it's been some time since on your land I roamed. Among gazelles, lions, and birds, zebras, elephants, and other herds. Where I once walked on rose petals with my mother the queen, I now walk among the flowers, thankful for all I've seen. Thank you.